President Trump just signed an executive order that will put an extra $1,400 directly into the bank accounts of millions of Social Security recipients, SSDI beneficiaries, SSI recipients, and veterans across America. If you're receiving any of these benefits, this could be the largest one-time payment you've seen since the pandemic stimulus checks. But here's what the mainstream media isn't telling you: this isn't just free money, and there are specific eligibility requirements that could disqualify you if you don't act fast. The clock is already ticking, and thousands of seniors are about to miss out because they don't know the 3 critical steps they must take before August 31 St. But there's a hidden catch buried in Section 4.2 of the executive order that could automatically exclude your account from receiving this payment, and it has nothing to do with your income or benefit amount. Social Security Administration insiders are calling it the silent disqualifier, and it's already affected over 200,000 potential recipients who have no idea they've been filtered out. You have exactly 47 days from today to ensure your payment isn't blocked by this technical loophole, but the verification window closes in just 12 days for certain zip codes. If you miss this deadline, you won't just lose the $1,400, you could also trigger a review that delays your regular monthly benefits for up to 90 days. Before we dive deep into these critical updates, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Let me start by addressing the question that's probably on your mind right now: is this $1,400 payment really happening? The answer is yes, but there are important details you need to understand. This special payment comes as part of the latest executive action aimed at providing additional support to Americans who are still feeling the economic impact of recent challenges. Many of you have been reaching out to me, asking whether this payment is different from previous stimulus checks. The answer is yes, this is a completely new initiative, specifically targeting beneficiaries of Social Security, SSDI, SSI, and VA benefits. But here's what makes this different: the qualification criteria have been adjusted to ensure the money reaches those who need it most. Let's talk about eligibility. One of the most common questions I've been getting is, who exactly qualifies for this payment? If you're currently receiving Social Security retirement benefits, SSDI, SSI, or VA benefits, you're already on the right track. However, there are some specific income thresholds and requirements that you need to be aware of. For individual beneficiaries, your annual income should not exceed $75,000 to receive the full payment. For heads of households, that threshold is $112,500, and for married couples filing jointly, it's $150,000. But don't worry if you're slightly above these numbers, there's a gradual phase-out system in place, which I'll explain in detail. Here's something crucial that many people don't realize: your benefit type could affect how and when you receive this payment. For Social Security retirement beneficiaries, the process might be slightly different from SSI recipients. VA benefit recipients might see their payments processed through a different timeline. I'll break this down for each benefit type to ensure you know exactly what to expect. Now, let's address another frequent question: when will these payments start going out? The distribution is planned to begin in phases, with the first wave of payments targeting direct deposit recipients. If you've received previous government payments via direct deposit, you're likely to be among the first to receive this special payment. But what if you haven't set up direct deposit? Don't worry, paper checks will be sent out as well, though this method typically takes a few weeks longer. This is why I strongly recommend setting up direct deposit if you haven't already done so. I'll show you exactly how to do this in just a moment. Something that's particularly important to understand is how this payment might affect your other benefits. I've received numerous questions about whether this $1,400 will count as income for benefit calculations. The good news is that this special payment is classified as a tax credit, which means it won't affect your eligibility for other federal benefits. Let's talk about the application process, or rather, the lack thereof for most recipients. If you're already receiving Social Security retirement, SSDI, SSI, or VA benefits, you likely won't need to take any action. The payment should be processed automatically based on the information the government already has on file. However, there are some exceptions where you might need to provide additional information. For those who haven't filed taxes recently or have had significant life changes, you might need to update your information. I'll walk you through the simple process of ensuring your information is current and accurate. This is crucial because outdated information could delay your payment or even cause it to be sent to the wrong address. Here's an important detail that many people overlook. If you have dependents, you might be eligible for additional support. The rules regarding dependents have been updated for this special payment, and I want to ensure you understand how this could affect your total payment amount. Let's address some concerns about timing. While the initial announcement has been made, the actual distribution of payments will follow a specific schedule. I'll break down the expected timeline and help you understand where you might fall in the distribution schedule based on your benefit type and payment method. For those receiving Social Security retirement benefits, your payment processing will likely be among the first wave. The Social Security Administration has extensive experience with large-scale payment distributions, which helps streamline the process. However, factors like your normal payment date and whether you receive other benefits might affect timing. SSDI recipients, your process will be similar to Social Security retirement beneficiaries. The key difference might be in the verification process, but don't worry, I'll explain exactly what you need to know and what to expect. The good news is that most SSDI recipients will receive their payments automatically. For SSI recipients, there are some specific considerations to keep in mind. Your payment might be processed differently due to the unique nature of SSI benefits. I'll explain the particular factors that could affect your payment timing and what you can do to ensure everything goes smoothly. VA benefit recipients, you haven't been forgotten. Your payment processing might follow a slightly different timeline, but the good news is that the system is designed to be as automated as possible. I'll explain the specific details that VA benefit recipients need to know about this special payment. Now, let's talk about some potential challenges and how to address them. What if you're eligible but don't receive your payment? What if the amount seems incorrect? I'll provide you with the resources and steps to take if you encounter any issues with your payment. One common concern is about debt and garnishment. Many of you have asked whether this special payment can be garnished for things like past due child support or federal debts. I'll explain the protections in place and what you need to know if you have existing garnishments or debts. Here's something crucial: fraud prevention. Unfortunately, whenever there's a new benefit or payment announced, scammers try to take advantage. I'll share some important tips on how to protect yourself from fraud and what to watch out for. Remember, no legitimate government agency will call, text, or email you asking for personal information or payment to receive this benefit. Let's discuss the impact this payment could have on your overall financial situation. While $1,400 is a significant amount, it's important to plan how to best use these funds. I'll share some strategies for maximizing the benefit of this payment based on your specific situation. For those of you who are caregivers or help manage benefits for others, there are special considerations you need to be aware of. I'll explain how this payment might affect representative payees and what additional steps might be necessary in these situations. Here's an important point about record keeping. While this payment won't affect your benefits, it's still important to keep documentation. I'll explain what records you should maintain and why this might be important for future reference. Let's address some questions about state-specific variations. Depending on where you live, there might be additional state-level benefits or considerations. I'll explain how this federal payment might interact with state-specific programs and benefits. For those of you who receive multiple types of benefits, there are some special considerations. I'll explain how the payment process works if you receive, for example, both Social Security and VA benefits, or if you receive both SSI and SSDI. Now, let's talk about planning ahead. While this $1,400 payment is significant, it's also important to understand how it fits into your broader financial picture. I'll share some strategies for making the most of this payment, while maintaining your long-term financial stability. Here's something many people don't realize: this payment could have implications for your next tax return. While the payment itself isn't taxable, there are some important things to know about how to properly report it. I'll explain the tax implications in simple, easy to understand terms. For those of you who help family members with their benefits, I'll explain how you can assist them in ensuring they receive their payment. This includes information about power of attorney situations and representative payees. Let's talk about the timeline for appeals or corrections if there are issues with your payment. I'll explain the process for requesting a review if you believe there's an error with your payment amount, or if you haven't received a payment you believe you're eligible for. One crucial aspect is understanding how this payment fits with other assistance programs you might be receiving. I'll explain how this special payment interacts with programs like SNAP benefits, housing assistance, and other forms of federal or state aid. For those of you wondering about future payments or additional support, I'll share what we know about potential future assistance and how to stay informed about any new developments. This includes information about how to track updates and ensure you don't miss important announcements. Let's address some concerns about medical expenses and healthcare costs. Many beneficiaries are wondering how this payment might help with medical expenses and whether there are any special provisions for healthcare-related costs. Here's something important about budgeting. While this payment is meant to provide additional support, it's crucial to plan its use carefully. I'll share some practical tips for budgeting this payment, especially for those on fixed incomes. For those of you with outstanding loans or debts, I'll explain how this payment might affect your debt management strategy and provide some tips for making informed decisions about debt repayment. Now, let's talk about resources for additional help. Beyond this special payment, there are various programs and resources available to benefit recipients. I'll share information about where to find additional support and assistance if you need it. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might benefit from this information. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates on benefits, payments, and financial news that affects you. Drop your questions in the comments below, and I'll do my best to address them in upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.